referring to what I just said, though, it was your fault that I had chicken sandwiches last night.
What?
Because you talked about Powell's and made me.
Oh, I see.
But Powell's was closed. So I went to searching. And Wendy's had buy one, get one free spicy chicken sandwiches.
I think the blame is on Wendy's.
Fair. It is on. And DoorDash for offering that deal.
Oh, so Wendy's didn't offer...
I don't. It's probably a both. It's probably a both. But
Yeah.
yes, I don't. Like they offered it through DoorDash. I don't think they actually. I don't know if that was nationwide. I think it's like if you buy it through DoorDash, you get it. Buy one get one free. But I mean, if you get a full free chicken sandwich, yeah, it was. It was
delicious.
And that's why I had to change shirts. I also had this fun experience where a little piece of their lettuce, I didn't realize it, but it had dropped between my supple inner thighs. And so when I went to go get up, it touched my supple inner thighs.
Supple.
And I was like, oh, a octopus has somehow crawled into my room in between my supple inner thighs.
Oh, supple.
And is now attacking my crotch. And I was like, oh, no, it's a small piece of lettuce. But I also had some, some delicious dribblings on the shirt. So thus now we are wearing a gray shirt for the recording.
Good.
I'm not sure what we'll do with this, to be honest. I don't know if it'll be short, we just tack it on to the last one, because I still haven't put that one up yet. Or if it ends up going and we just say, fuck it, let's do a whole one by itself. I do know one thing I was talking about, because I know how much you love super nerds.
Oh, they make me happy.
So, and this will combine a lot of stuff. So, since I love the Korean variety shows, and I, even dabble in the K-pop from time to time, I sometimes across my timeline get news items about these people. So, and this is one of the groups that Ken's would even know about twice.
Okay, yes, I've heard of it.
Okay, one of their members is called Momo. She's one of the Japanese members. Well, she took some sort of Pokemon card out of its PSA.
Oh, the little...
Yes, it was PSA graded. She took it
this.
out and then put it in her phone case so that it would be on, like that's the new thing, is you put them in your clear phone case.
People like it, hey, so you can see.
Yes. Oh, but then this caused a mighty divide in the Pokemon.
Of course.
Is whether or not what she did was...
It is not worth
exactly
so much.
The PSA could change.
It's not like this is a dumb card game for kids to have fun collecting.
Yes.
No, this is serious
business. This is business right now. And so anyway, she has gotten into the card. It's funny because the card, I think, as it graded at that point in time, it was like $176. But if it were a 10, which I don't know why they even included that in the theory, they said, oh, if this graded out to be a 10, well, it would be worth $800. But I was like,
guess what?
They've already graded it.
It's not.
Yeah. I was like, why does that even matter?
Yep.
But I was like, we're talking about a K-pop star who her bags are like $5,000 to $10,000 Chanel bag. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like whether that she buys them or whether they're given to her.
Yes.
The whole point is like,
it's a silly art.
For $175, she has a case that she likes and she thinks it makes her phone look pretty, and people are just like losing it. Like, I can't believe she's not a true Pokemon master.
Right.
Like Ash Ketchum would be so disappointed in her right now. I thought that was fun. I just thought I would tell you. I was like, that.
Screw those stupid people, man. It's
that's hyper nerdism.
Game.
Yeah.
Let it be a kid's card game. If you want to collect things, cool, collect things. Right? That's awesome. But the minute it becomes money and business, they've lost the fucking plot.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really what it is, right? People get obsessed about money, but I was saying, even I, at its PSA 10, I make no money. But if I waited until I got my school money in, I could afford that. Like, that's not even like one of those crazy. I can understand if it was the Black Lotus card and it was like a $2 million card, and it might cost them. I'm like, okay, that's like overly luxurious, rich people wasteful spending.
I agree.
I get that. We're talking about a fucking $800 Focus at maximum, and it wasn't. The thing is, she didn't even take one of those out. We know it was graded, and it was $170. So it was a $175 card. Like, so many people complaining probably have, spent that on a weekend at a nice restaurant or something. On an anniversary or something for their wife. They probably took them out. I mean, come on, settle down, people. Sorry, I got so talking about that I forgot to look up the next topic. But everybody, just for those who will be welcome to my garage. And there's Placebo.
We are in his garage.
I probably should move it just a little bit so you can see Placebo a little more. I'll tilt it this way. You can see the curtain that somebody, not me because I'm not that industrious, but somebody has hung to block the light from heating this. Well, basically what happened was, I remember why we did that. It's because the sun would hit through there and just turn this place into like an absolute sauna during the summer, and it was just impossible to cool down. And so we just decided it was better to, and also people couldn't do a little peeky poo inside of our garage at any time they wanted. Now, real quick, people listening won't care. But isn't that interesting how that one cloud, you see how the one kind of closer to us?
Yep.
Is that different? It almost, like, to me, that looks like a smoke cloud because it's like an orangish color. Like, it almost looks dirty.
Yeah.
Compared to, like, the ones behind it are, like, dark gray. And they look like, and that one looks like somebody just, like, took a puff of a big cigar. Because it's, like, orange and kind of just.
It does look like it's made of different stuff.
Sorry, we're having, like, a storm basically brew through, or what could be a storm, move through, and we're watching it since we're outdoors. So it's very important that you understand this and stuff. All right, I do have bookmarks. Ooh, maybe they could hear the thunder.
Thunder.
Yeah, I immediately thought of this song. Lightning and the thunder. Okay, you're right. Here's another one. It's Psycho. So, somebody was putting out stats and somebody replied to it. 32% of stay-at-home moms and 38% of working moms are on psychiatric meds. Does that mean 70% of mothers are on psychiatric meds? Because if it's 32% of stay-home, which are different than the 38% of working, because you're either a stay-at-home or a working mom, right?
No,
like
I
if you're
think
a mother.
it's of the 50%, it's 32%.
Well, not of the humanity, but
So that goes down to what? That's 18%.
wait, what?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Of moms, not of humans. So men are completely
Right.
tossed out.
So of moms, read the stat again.
So it's 32% of stay-at-home moms and 38% of working moms. So this also doesn't include like single women, which honestly, half the ones I talked to, is probably a higher percentage than that. But
Yeah, there's a lot of SSRI use going on out there. That's for sure.
are on psychiatric but that is insane, right? That's huge. And I guess his point was clearly the industry is putting, like, it's not fixing people. It's built to
Which industry? The psychiatric drug industry?
He combined them. He said they're working kind of hand in hand, the psychiatric and therapy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what they do is just like, oh well, keep coming back and here's some pills.
Right.
Right. And I do think there's some, like, I think we talked about yesterday, or whenever, my ex brother-in-law who's now dead. He could have used.
Yeah.
I think he had some serious stuff going on. I'm always trying to work out because, like, early on in his life, he seemed like he still had a little bit of hope, and like, I mean, he obviously was happy enough to get married, and he graduated, got a good job, kind of. And I don't know if it was just he did that and then it didn't blossom the way he wanted, and then that just kind of sent him. Then the chemical stuff kicked in because there was some sort of, like, he was like, I literally nothing I can do.
Right.
Makes me feel positive. That's actually why that. Well, I guess I'll leave family relation, but basically, and then eventually he took his own life.
Correct.
And they were kind of upset. His family was upset because they tried to send him to get like stronger medication, but they're like, no, he has to take this weak stuff that he's already been taking for 2 months and tells us it doesn't work at all.
Mm-hmm.
But he has to do it for 6 months before we can move on to the next. And in that interim is when But I do think there's some people who like they need some crazy medication, right? But I think it's very few initially, and I think we immediately rush to medicate when there's other like ways of psychologically handling to where you could change the brain's chemistry without having to chemically do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like diet and exercise can change the chemistry of your body in other ways too, right? But anyway, I guess I do think there is like almost like a conjoined effort, not necessarily like rubbing their hands together, but it's just the pharmacy is definitely just now profit based. They are not helping people based.
I think by and large that is correct. I think in this case it also misses one of the details that who is more likely to spend a huge amount of time on social media thinking about themselves and comparing themselves to others, women or men. And though I think both groups do it, I do think it sort of centralizes around the communal nature.
Yes, women more likely
to have.
Yes, compare that they are very comparative.
Yes, especially with looks, and I think that is favored on all of these social media sites. Or is looks.
I would also say it's attention. So like I'm seeing this, and we were talking about the WNBA earlier, and the reason a lot of these women are just like outright assaulting other players like Caitlin Clark or Sophia Cunningham is because they're getting loads of attention. They are the star, like and the thing is they're getting attention, and they're not what the average WNBA player is, right? Like they are different, and so a lot of these other chicks are like, no, I want to be the star. I mean, they've actually come out on things like, oh, I'm just as good as her. I'm just as much of a star as she is. And you can tell that wind is blowing smoke back in my face, and it's unpleasant. You can tell that there's a jealousy element, and so I do think there is something about having the attention, but that's literally what social media capitalizes, is attention. And I mean, of course, that all just goes for, we know men in our lives who need constant attention.
Absolutely.
And so this isn't just thing on. I do think it's a little higher percentage on the women's side.
That's my point as well. And so I think that probably contributes to a large amount of it.
No, I agree.
And I suppose I think, which of the two groups would be more likely to seek medication to solve their problems? I think women are likely going to be more likely to go for the medication attempted solution, or I suppose the
more
medical,
quickly.
The medical one, whereas guys I think will spiral into a deeper, like, I'm going to drink myself into a self-medicating state. Yeah.
Or they'll go to their bros and, go fishing and just go get or hunting or something. Yeah. Or they have a different, they are much more likely to work out, box, do something to get the pressure. Because I guess that's how we naturally are. I feel like that's how we're almost taught to do it, is like, if you're feeling frustrated, go exercise or go box. Which it does work, by the way. That is proven to actually work.
Aerobic exercise is a great medication.
Stress reliever, So you may be, there's something there too, is that,
I think there's several factors.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my point.
No, I agree. I just also think, from a perspective, I do agree with them as well, that the system is set up, though, to generate customers.
I agree.
I hope everybody can hear the lovely rainstorm we were getting. Because I bet you they can probably hear that, because it's tinkling hard enough to. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that is a wild stat that many people.
It's a lot.
Are on some sort of medication to psychologically change them.
Yeah.
I would love to know what that. I would love to just look up to see what overall of Americans.
Yeah.
How many people? Because I think it's a pretty ridiculous number by now.
I would suspect that you're right.
it's funny for dads. Oh, let me read the original. Here's the original. This is interesting. For dads, it kind of flips a little bit. 33% of stay-at-home dads are on it. 31% of working dads. So it's fun. It is. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Stay-at-home dads actually have a slightly higher percentage of being medicated than stay-at-home by 1%.
What
Stay-at-home
was
moms.
it for the moms?
It was 32-38 was the split.
But it's the same, like the higher one is the stay at home or the higher one
No,
is the working?
no. For women, the higher one is the working.
Okay, that's the interesting part.
That's
for me.
that's why I said that's work.
That is very.
For men, the higher one is the staying at home.
That is very, very interesting. Do you think it's just societal pressure on the two parties not doing what they historically have?
There could be some, but I think society is much more accepting of it a little bit.
So
But
do you think it's a biological thing?
I think it's both. I think it's a bit of both. I do think society does put pressure, but I also think just generally, like estrogen is just the chemicals you have. Estrogen makes you a more like caring, nurturing is the word,
Absolutely.
nurturing
That's
person. And testosterone makes you a more conquering. You have the desire to go out and conquer and gather and do. And so men, just by the way their genetics work, have higher testosterone. So they're going to be happier in a environment that, lends to that. And then women are going to be happier in an environment that lends to being nurturing.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I don't know. Yeah, that when I didn't fully read the full stat until right there, and I was like, oh, that is very fascinating. The breakdown is flips. All right, I got another one. This is crazy. Officials in Nova Scotia. I believe that's Canada, right? Nova Scotia.
I think so.
At first I was like, well, that sounds like Nova Scotia. But then I was like, wait a minute, that's just Canada. Are investigating how a Skyrim username mistake led to an innocent man spending 18 months in prison. The police sought the username foos__row_da.
It's a very normal Skyrim username.
Yeah. And I don't know, somehow that person was involved with a crime. I probably could open it up. But here's what's funny. They went and arrested a guy whose name was foos_row_da. So one less underscore.
I see.
They searched this guy's house, all of his devices, but found no evidence seeking the guy that they arrested of the crime. Despite this, he was convicted and spent 18 months in prison. In July 2026, the Nova Scotia Court of Appeal overturned his conviction and found him innocent. I just feel like that is, if you are the police and you are about to put somebody in jail, which I mean, the only reason he got out in 18 months was because he appealed it and got it overturned.
Yeah.
So you're talking years. They're putting whatever they did, this person did. It was a long. I feel like you should have the detail-oriented nature to understand and see the difference of two underscores. I mean, I know that's a small difference, but when we're talking and I'm sure the investigation took months.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody, and if he was like, no, that's not me, and you found no evidence, wouldn't that make you just, I don't know, that does seem somewhat lazy? I don't know what the word I'm
Yeah.
looking for is, but it's like, nah, we got our guy, we don't care.
Right.
And is it just because they don't understand gaming that they wouldn't even get that, that's actually a different username, 2 underscores versus 1?
Probably, I would guess.
I mean, I don't understand how nobody pointed this out. Nobody pointed that out the whole way through the trial.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, that's a completely different username.
Yeah, that I don't understand how we got through the whole
How, like,
thing.
neither the person who was getting arrested or the lawyers went through the whole process, and nobody pointed that out.
Yeah.
But also, how do you convict somebody if you find zero evidence connecting them to the crime?
I do not know.
Well, his name was kind of similar, so it's good enough. Put him in jail. Because, I mean, that's like, think about it, 18 months in, like, prison.
For nothing.
For something you did not do.
But I mean, with all the ones where it's like DNA evidence exonerated someone who's been sitting there
Yeah.
for God knows how long.
Yeah. But some of those, at least, well, you're right. Because I'm trying to think, some of those, like, they knew a person, or there's at least a little bit of a connectivity that people are like, oh, yeah, I can see how that. They were in the house the day of the crime or something like that. They just were. But it's like, this was like, there's just nothing. Nothing. I don't know, man. Oh, this is funny. The Red Cross made this whole cartoon, okay?
Okay.
And it was showing, it was just sympathetic, and it showed the bravery of an Afghan, an actual Afghan named Sharif, who was a immigrant who traveled to Europe.
He was an immigrant.
Illegally.
Or-
No, he was an Afghan, so he was from Afghan, and he traveled to Europe illegally.
Okay.
But he got there, and so they were like, oh, isn't it so good that he's being taken care
But
of?
he did some kind of heroic thing?
No, they're just telling his story, that he made it, and I guess, I don't know. They're just trying to build him up, that he was this kind guy, and his... look, I mean, they were showing, like, oh, he was on this boat, and they're basically telling the story of how hard it is.
I see.
But they had to delete the video, because when Sharif got there, apparently in Great Britain, because he murdered a British woman.
Ah.
So their primary star of their "look how great this is" video
Yeah.
got there and immediately murdered someone. It's like, why don't you put that video up?
Yeah. It is of note, right?
Yeah.
Like it's.
I'm not saying I'm not willing to on camera make a broader, but I think that it is humorous that, like, in their attempt to, I don't know, I guess you can just see how certain parties try to exaggerate certain elements,
Right.
you know. Look how wonderful this person is. Oh, he's a murderer? Just like a blatant murders himself. It was like, the other thing, if I remember reading about this up, there was no reason for it. He just,
Oh, really?
yeah, he just decided this bitch gonna die. Like, he just,
Yikes.
you know. So he was just some psycho. But it's funny that they built this entire, like, cartoon that they had on their YouTube page. Primary, you know, people were watching this story. It's like, yeah, very good. I don't think that's quite doing what you were hoping it was going to do.
Right.
Oh, this is interesting. So, there is a map. And I don't think it says anything. I just think it's interesting. I'm not making a broader conclusion.
Okay.
But they did a map of the most common country of birth for foreign-born residents, excluding Mexico. So if you
Okay.
we're not talking about Mexico, because
So-
that obviously would be like,
So foreign-born immigrants in the United States minus Mexico. Here's the graph.
yes. And I mean, you can see this orange. I mean, I know that is India.
Okay. I see Canada. I see. There's a lot of India.
There's a lot of India. This is, I think, Cuba, which makes sense. That's Florida.
Florida being Cuba makes a lot of sense. I see Guatemala down to Louisiana.
Philippines are actually it's pretty interesting because the Philippines are over here on the west coast. Pretty strong. Like, that's quite a bit for a small
Yeah.
country.
A lot of Indians.
Yeah, I was like, that was wild. Like, this is like 50% of the states are like,
A lot of Indians.
that is a lot. Again, not making any proclamations. I just thought it was an interesting map
It
to
is.
look at and be like, oh, wow. It's Canada and India, basically. But
Right.
which I don't know. I think Canada. I'm like, does that really? I mean,
Does it count as immigration?
yeah, it's kind of what I'm like. Canada before, like until about 15 years ago, was like culturally and politically very similar to. It was like America Junior.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that is a very different, just like culturally, societally, very similar to us. Whereas a lot of these other places are very different. What's the blue stuff? Oh, that's funny. Somalia is the primary one in Minnesota. I was like, what one is that? I was like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, you'll love this.
Oh, I can't wait.
One of the guys about to. I was up until midnight watching the Tennessee versus LSU 2022 game. And I thought, you know, we talk about like game or nerd culture. I think some sports fans, there needs to be like a geek culture that they are just. If you're staying up extra late to watch a game that is 4 years old,
Yeah. That you could watch at any time.
at any time. Well, just like some of these guys, that's all they do. All that. It's crazy. I hear them talk, and they write, and it's like they just watch old game film. Like that's what they do, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
And what you think you're gonna break down the strategies? Just I don't know. I can't figure out why. I get wanting to watch it live because you're seeing it happen and you can cheer and. But it's like you already know what happens for one.
Yeah.
I don't.
Perhaps, you know, I think for F1, right? F1 in 2021 had a remarkable season. A very explosive, like, is it going to go this way? Is it going to go that way? Right? A tense season.
Yeah.
Obviously now we know the conclusion, but there is something about seeing how it played out and
Okay.
imagining what it might have been like at the time in the ooh,
Yeah.
which way, right? And so me and Jason, my mom's fiance, have watched a chunk of that, and we're going to continue to the end. But it does take a degree of like taking yourself out of it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do it with every game, every match of every race of every season. Just that one is of note.
Yeah.
You know, that was like, what was the one Super Bowl game where there was a huge upset comeback?
The New England versus Atlanta.
So
New
that's,
England, yeah.
so that one, I think, were I getting into football now, it might be of interest for me to at some point
See that,
go
yeah.
back and watch that game.
Yeah.
But as different from what you're talking about, where people just spend all day watching whatever old.
Yeah, I thought like, man, I know. Well, see, the thing is, I know these guys have watched this game like they probably watch it I don't know, maybe once a month.
Mm-hmm.
But there's certain games and and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like there's something missing, and you're like, if that's you're not experiencing anything new, you're not, you know what I mean? Like, there's something too, like,
There is an element of you living in the past,
yeah.
you know, and then look at the bright new day in front of you that you might partake in otherwise.
Yes, it's like there's plenty of stuff to engage in now. Like, but I because like I'm a huge sports fan. That's what I guess what I'm talking about. Because I can't do that. I'm like, I like looking at like new reports and new like I don't even mind seeing like some practice video. But I think that gets a little too much because you can't really tell what they're working on in practice, and people try to like. They really try to draw out all these conclusions about who's going to be good and who's not off of like a 10-second.
Right.
Watch this quarterback throw one pass, and you're like, he threw 200 more that practice. You know, like you don't know what it. You know, they chose to let you see that one. So I don't know. I think that's I don't know. Maybe I'm too much. Yeah. So I have a question. This is it here.
I have an answer.
Okay. Someone said the anti-AI crowd are the modern-day Luddites. Imagine watching the biggest tech revolution in generations and thinking you can stop it or not maximally leveraging it. And then a senator, who I tend to usually like, but I'll leave his name out, said, it's not hard to imagine the same people reacting in horror to the invention of the wheel. I do not like that comparison.
I think it's a faulty comparison.
I also think it is a false statement. Well, no, actually, I don't. I do think this might be a big. Somehow, it's going to have a societal change. I do think AI is a massive societal change. I don't know if it's going to do the things they think it's going to do. You know, I don't know if within the next 5 years we've cured cancer and.
Well, I doubt at any point after the invention of the wheel did anyone 5 years later go, man, this shit is killing us.
Yes.
And yet here we are, and with modern electronic technology, we are having that discussion, and there are reasonable arguments on both sides.
Yes.
No one was like, man, the wheel? Fuck that, we're destined for hell now.
We were all happy and functional without the wheel,
Right.
and now the wheel has made us more depressed and more self-conscious. And, yeah.
Right.
Well, my little socky toes got a little bit. So, for those of you watching, the storm has arrived. I'm pretty sure you can probably hear it, but it has been so windy that it is now blowing into the garage a bit, and the splash of the rain has moved towards us to the point where it has actually dabbled on my toes. That is a very important detail.
We need a squeegee.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I need to because usually, I mean, I don't, I really sit out here when it's raining, so I never really considered oh, I need to keep this portion dry. This is unique. It's kind of unique, but that's fine. Placebo comes here and we have great exciting times, like getting our feet slightly wet and our chair, the feet of our chairs wet with rain. Oh, aren't we pioneer boys? I think my great ancestors, when they were traveling over the Appalachian Trail, establishing new frontiers, they were like, ooh, my toesies got a little bit
Not
moist
my
from the
toesies.
rain. Ah. Not the toesies. How will we continue on? Perhaps we should just settle here. I don't think we can. And then they fucked the natives, and that's how I came to be.
So true.
They had sex with whoever was around, and that's how I genetically came to exist. That works. I think I'm going to stop it there, because that adds 30 minutes. I can tack that on to the 45 we had earlier, and that's our normal hour and 15 minutes.
There you go.
Everybody, I'll see you next week. I might even record another one. So, the first thing I was going to talk to you about, Placebo. Oh, no, I remember. I don't even need to look it up. It was LinkedIn. Okay? You know how I've done this before. I've ranted about LinkedIn. This is not new to me, you, anybody. But there's a new rant. And it's just another element of how fake and disingenuous that site is. And the reason I hate it, because I think the genuine, honest people actually are at a disadvantage. The people who would make the best employees are the ones who are at the biggest disadvantage when it comes to LinkedIn. I probably shouldn't have thrown a slice of orange in my mouth before I started doing this, but I was like, I'm just sitting here just chew. Come on, chew. So there's a thing that LinkedIn has. They have puzzle games, right? And you can play it once a day. And it's they're timed. So there's one where you have to navigate through these squares, kind of through a maze, but there's numbered, so you have to hit ones here, twos down, and you have to figure out the pattern to get through it and get all the way through to the end of the numbers. There's one where you have to guess words based off of clues they give you, but they're kind of all. It's like a ladder, so it's fire and then FORE, and then more, and so it kind of has a ladder to it, right? You change one word or one letter, and so there's one of those. There's another one where you have to find on a kind of like on a grid. You have to find the words, and they have like there's a 3-letter word, a 4-letter word, a 5-letter word, and it's like, you know, but it's not. You can go backwards, up, down, wherever, right? It's not. Have one of those. They have a Sudoku, like a speed Sudoku. They have, you know, it's basically all like brain games.
The daily, you know,
Yes.
dulls, like connections, Wordle, stuff
Yes,
like that.
it's exactly like that. So but they do it on LinkedIn, and there is a bit where like it'll tell you if your friends have played the game. Now I haven't. I mean, I think I have like 2 connections that play the game. That's actually how I probably even found out about it. Somebody played one and it gave me like an alert or something. But I've been doing it because I like to do it, and it like keeps my brain. Like if you actually play the games, it will help you.
Games.
Yes, it'll help you like problem solve, and yes, it's that's the whole idea. Well, I started looking at the averages for some of these because it will tell you the average time, like where you stack in the average. And there are some times where I would do the Sudoku, and I was just like, ba, 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 ba. I mean, I was flying through it. I mean, I was almost entering stuff about as quickly as you could, and I would still be like double the average time. Like, the average time was like 36 seconds, and I did it in 1 minute and 12 seconds or something. And I started going, this is a little sus. You know, or there's like the link game where you have to link the numbers together. Like, I was doing it like super fast, and then I'd do it, and it was still like, I was like, there's something sus about this. There's something that makes me think, like, I'm pretty honest about this. This isn't I'm just not actually as good as I think I am thing. I was being pretty honest. Like, there's times where I was flying through it, and then there's times where I'm like, ooh, I struggled today. But it was like consistently, and so I started thinking, like, I wonder why this. Is there a way to cheat on this? And then I figured it out. There's a YouTube channel. There's probably a few other places, but they just give you the answers to the day. And what people are doing is they're so worried that someone is going to look up, like a future employer, a future, like, or the current employer that may be looking to, whatever they're thinking is somebody's going to look at their LinkedIn, and they're so competitive and so worried about that they are going and they are just looking up the results before they start, because the games start the second you enter. So they have to look it up. They find the answers to the puzzle, and then they're just entering it off. They're cheating on, like, brain puzzles on LinkedIn. And I was like, that is the most, oh my gosh. Like, that, it defeats the entire purpose.
Are crazy with that stuff. Yeah.
And so
it's absolutely insane.
And I was just like, and right, those are the people you don't want to work for your company, though, right? Because in reality, they're not actually, like, capable. They don't have the intelligence that they're presenting, right?
Right.
If they're willing to lie on there, they're willing to lie other places too.
Absolutely.
And so it's just like, that's why I say, like, it makes me even that more down on LinkedIn, because I just feel like the whole platform is just the most fake people being fake and trying to get one up on somebody else while being, I hate it. I wish it were, because I think as a core concept, I'm okay. I think it's a good idea, like a place where people who are looking for work and people who are wanting to find people who are looking for work can, like, connect, or you can connect with other business people and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? When you connect with other human beings, you go to parties to do this too. Network. Thank you. Yeah, it's like online networking, and I think that's a cool idea. I think if it could be done, well, I mean, we know that's never going to be the case, but if it could be done honestly, it's a cool idea. But, you know, people ruin everything.
There's incentives to lie.
Yeah. Exactly. There's major incentives. So
and you're hidden behind a screen. So there's a lot of stuff going against it, I suppose. It's got a lot of challenges to face that I don't see how it could be made honestly online.
Yeah. It's a shame, because I feel like that's the same thing with, like, Facebook or Instagram, or even as a core concept, it is a positive. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you can show grandma or your friends the cool thing you did, and they can be like, wow, I wanted to know about my friends. But what it becomes is, bootylicious woman, takes pictures that are not real, and then sends you a link to her OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that's what it becomes, and it's a shame that like everything gets ruined.
It is.
Oh no, man.
I wish I had a solution for you, but I
know.
It's
real.
It is unfortunate. It is the way the internet works, though.
Yeah, it's probably not the way humanity works to a degree. I mean,
think about, I don't know, just think about like, I was thinking about like you were mentioning that, I thought about dating apps, right? Dating apps, same thing, right? Wouldn't it be a great idea for us to be able to find some people that fit more of what we might be interested in and save some time not going with all these people that I'm just not going to vibe with? But what does it become? It becomes just lying and using people, and but would it, I guess, for whatever problems dating has like out in the real world, I think it faces many, many more online, right?
Yeah.
In the same way that the networking does, right? For LinkedIn and stuff. So
no, I agree with that. I mean, it kind of made me think about
the nature of the internet, right?
Well, yeah, that's what it made me think back to some stuff I was going to talk about during the World Cup, where, in general, the people who came and actually visited the World Cup, physically came and hung out with people, they almost all had a fantastic time, and were like, oh, no, this was a very positive experience. I enjoyed the matches. The stadiums are great. The people were fantastic. What a great time. But there was these groups of people, and a lot of them were English, but I think like for some reason English are just the most grumpy, miserable. But there was a good chunk. It was almost entirely European though, which is funny. But they were like complaining and be like, no, the venues are off. Oh, the people are all, and then you find out, and there's like, they were sitting at home. They were just online, like they knew nothing about the situation. It was like, they just wanted to be miserable. Like it was a very interesting element.
The world needs to understand that Teddy Roosevelt speech, man. It needs to understand it, right? It's not the critic that counts. It's the man in the arena.
Yes.
We got a whole lot of like online cynicism coming from people who have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, they watched a TV show or something that told them that things are bad.
Right. Now they're experts, right? Because of a YouTube documentary that was made by one random dude.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm not going to get into. I have family members who did that.
Everything.
I have a family member who sent me a YouTube documentary that was like AI generated. And he was like, this tells the truth of the this situation. I was like, oh, God, no, cuz, no. Like, no, this is not where we're getting our sources of information from. No. That's where you get the real truth. You can't trust. I guess it's kind of, I was trying to think of how I would link this together, but I'm just, fuck it, we're going to the next. Someone put out a video, and it was, they said, can we stop teaching children to hit back?
Tricky one.
Yeah, I just, no. And then from most of what I could see, people online were like, no, I'm going to teach my child to defend themselves. I don't know, like, why would I teach my child to, like, intentionally be bullied and to encourage to be bullied? Yeah, because, like, that bullies love it when you just take it. But this idea that like they will be shamed or something, like that's just delusional. Like no, they're fine with like lording over you.
Yeah, I think just to a large degree they are. Yeah.
Very few get like, oh, he's just being kind while I punch him in the face. I should stop. Like
right.
Maybe later when they develop, like we've talked about this before, people who were bullies in school a lot of times have a better, like, development, like when they become adults, they actually become better adults and more well-adjusted adults than the people who were bullied. And because then when they get later in life, they're the ones that like look to almost get like their revenge or something. It's like,
well, I do think it's a God, what was the I forget the quote, but it's like if you want to see how someone truly is, give them power, right, or something like that.
That's interesting.
And I think it's like, well, the bullies have the power when they're young, right? Like that's what it is.
I see.
And
yeah.
to then remove that power, and I guess there's room to remove the power and grow. Yeah. Whereas the bullied do not have that option, and in their developmental years, they've learned a very negative thing about how power works and what to do with power, right? And I just think that it trends negatively, which is not to say, hey, you should be a bully. You're going to turn out great, right? Like it's, of course, not the conclusion, but I agree. Think there is a power element at play.
I think you're right. They like eventually learn. I mean, I guess there may be some bullies that continue to bully because, like, what I think
there are.
Yes, I guess you know what you're saying about the power is what happens is they get into a position where they're not the most powerful anymore, and then they go, "Oh, I get it," and then it clicks, right? And so they learn and they feel bad.
Probably that often, yeah.
Whereas, but I do think there's some people who somehow just do magically maintain that, you know, their dad's the owner of the company, and so they get put immediately into a leadership position. You know, they never have to go through the grunt work. They never have to be in a position of not power. And so they kind of maintain bully status throughout their life because they've never had to learn. But
I think that's very likely the general trend of things.
Were you not? I have a question. Were you not the one who said that to me? Because in my brain, I was attributing the idea I just said, where like the bullies tend to become more well-adjusted, and the bullied become like
compared to the bullied, right? Like not compared to someone who does neither, right?
Yes. No, I agree.
Goes through life. But
yes.
I think that if we are comparing exclusively bullies and those who were bullied, I think, unfortunately, the way it kind of works out is that the bullies sort of get themselves together and become decent members of society, and the bullied just carry on with torment in their hearts and minds and are not good for the people around them.
Okay, that makes sense. And I do agree, because I agree also. Like, I think everybody has been... I don't know if I can say everybody.
Teased, pushed.
Teased. Maybe had a moment or two. Like, I remember one time when I was playing, like, for the football team. There was a time where, like, I was hanging out with... Because, like, I always played sports, right? And I played football. And so I had friends of all kinds of backgrounds, we'll just say, right? That's as far as I'll go. Just all kinds of backgrounds.
Understood.
But it at times put me where if I was following them or hanging out with them, I would be put into a group of people with different backgrounds, perhaps, than mine. And there were a time or two where, like, I remember one time it was like in the locker room before 8th grade, before we were going to do, and they did like, I don't know if they actually kind of gang jumped me in or something, or what it was, or maybe I was a tough kid. So, like, I think they were trying, but they weren't strong enough to hurt me. But then my boys came in and jumped in and got them off. But they did do this, like, weird, like, got around me and started punching and kicking, and it was strictly because my background was different. And, I mean, I know some people, if they wanted to blame their whole life, my worldview was, I remember that time, I always remember that, not because I was, like, upset about it, but I was like, that was weird. It was, like, a weird... I didn't even hold bitterness about it. I was just like, that was a really weird thing to do. I don't know why they would do that. And it's like, and then as I got older and I saw how everybody used every little, like, negative thing that ever happened to them in childhood as a reason why they aren't,
move on.
Yes. Yeah. An Adonis CEO.
Right.
I was like, everybody's had somebody make, oh, you have pimples. Pimple face. Like that shit happens to everybody. I don't consider that bullying. So I guess, like, That's the other thing, right? Our standard now for bullying has been, I think there's like genuine bullying, and then there's like now what we just like, oh, did someone say that you weren't the greatest during second period? Oh, what?
I am 100% sure you're right on this. I mean, even the story that you just told me, I would venture a guess that almost no one who right now is talking about their childhood trauma that they experienced as a result of being bullied had that happen to them.
Right.
Now, that is not to say no one has.
Yeah.
Some have.
I'm sure.
But
obviously.
I would be willing to venture a guess that a large amount of them are just unhappy about the way someone said something to them or embarrassed them in front of someone they cared about or something like that, which are very normal things to happen all throughout life.
Yeah, it's like, hate to break it to you, a lot of that doesn't stop just when you become an adult.
Not going away. So
best to learn how to adapt and emotionally regulate yourself.
Yeah.
Speaking of, okay, now I have a transition into the next. I think we talked about this a little bit previously, just because I couldn't hold it in. But I mean, me and you, not on the podcast. Okay. But it was where I think it came from a reply to one of the shorts I shared on Instagram, and it was a guy who had doctor in his name. And it made me think about, because I've seen this a lot. It's the element where people try to use their PhD. Like, I use it just as a gimmick to separate myself as a brand, but I don't actually think my PhD inherently makes my argument better than someone is not, right? Like,
correct.
It doesn't matter if you have no degree. If you're making a valid argument, then I'm interested in the facts, the logic. That's what makes an argument good or bad. But I see a lot of people who, like, they love to just disengage from especially when they're losing, but any, like, discourse that, you know, of disagreeable nature, and just use, like, oh, you know, you don't have a PhD, or, you know, well, I mean, as a PhD holder, blah, blah, blah. And they, like, try to add that, you know. But then, when they can't do that because someone else has one, then what they do is they start to, this is an interesting thing, they then start to try to attack where you got it from. Like, they try to, like, nitpick, you know. It's like,
the conclusion must be that they are better than you. It must be so. So I just need to find whatever path I can take, you know, no matter how narrow that path, no matter how overwhelming the evidence that it's you know, not the right path, I will find that one path because the conclusion is so. I am better than you, and therefore my argument is better.
Yes, I don't have to even engage with your logic because yes.
Right.
And it was just one of those, like, I don't know, because it was interesting because I think a lot of times they get it wrong. So I'll just, my post-grad degrees are all from Liberty University. Now, Liberty University is a fully accredited major university from the same places like Duke, North Carolina, Florida State, Florida, anything in the Southeast. They meet the exact same, like, academic standards for their degree conference that all these other like, they have to meet the same standards. So you're getting basically the same kind of education you're getting at any of those places. But for some reason, Liberty did start, like, back in the day when it started, it was basically just a Bible college, right? And then it's kind of evolved over time to where those split, and now they have a Bible college, but it's not the same as their university. They have an, like, academic university that is something completely different. And but I think a lot of people get it in their heads like it's not a real university or something. But because I've had people like, oh, I bet you just what's your logic? They teach you read anything other than Bible? I'm like, we don't even read the Bible that much. Like, what are you talking? Like, that's not even a thing. We use the same books as, like, you do. What are you talking about? Like,
yeah.
And it's weird. I don't know.
It takes is one person on Twitch making, like, a comment or something, and the entire chat going, yeah, +2,
yeah,
stupid Christians, we're atheists, we're better than them, and then anyone in the chat who's like, not really sure and just sort of thinking through things generally,
you get influenced.
Oh yeah, okay, these guys are all on board with this, so
yeah.
Okay, stupid Christians.
Yeah,
and then that becomes a method of thinking, and
yeah, and I don't know. I just always think like that's such a weird. I don't know if they're just uninformed, so they actually do think that we don't like, because I mean Duke started as a Christian Baylor, TCU. I mean, there's major universities that people like respect their academics. That I'm like, they all started like that. What like what? Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird. I guess it just goes down. I hate when people try to. They don't argue the logic or the facts and the details. They try because I mean this is just one of many ways in which people do this, right? They do it if are you on our side politically? Are you on our side? So do you yes or no? Do you agree with this one statement? And that will tell me all I need to know about all you are as a human. It's like
yeah, because it's not politics, it's morality, it's ethics,
right? And it's like, well, okay. Yeah, I'm like, all right, let me hear your argument at least, but I don't know. That always annoys me when I see people. Well, what they'll do is we're doing what we're doing now, and they don't even talk about the topic that we were talking about in the clip. It's like a 30-second to a minute and a half clip, right? I mean, that's how long all of our clips are, and they won't even touch the topic. I can tell that they were upset about what we said because that's why they took that approach. But instead of even like doing anything with our logic or the data we gave during it, instead they just like go straight in for like ad hominem, right? Like it's just like fat. You couldn't be right about that logic because fat. I'm like, okay.
Even in my firefighting class that I'm in right now, I would say probably about 80% of what gets said by anyone in there roughly translates to, please everyone think highly of me, right? Like that's the whole point of why they are talking, right? Please, those of you who I'm talking to, think highly of me, right? Everything that gets said, that is the reason it is said, is to get the people around to think highly of them. It's not to help other people. It's not to learn something new. It's none of this. It is almost exclusively an insecure need for the people around us to think well of us as we are. And I think a lot of people do that in almost all of their speech. I forget who said it. It might have been Schopenhauer or something, but it was like talking happens when your thoughts and your mind are not at ease, which is to imply that like if you are at ease, if you are so on, then you don't talk.
Interesting. Maybe I feel like yes, but I don't know. There's some positives when like you just want to tell somebody you appreciate them. And your mind, I would say your mind is at ease during that. Maybe not all conversation, but I do agree what he's saying for the most part.
I think you can tease out that you might be onto something.
Yeah, no, I do agree with him for the most part that yes, people like to. Well, it's like we talk about this all the time with academic writing. Like you can tell when someone they don't actually understand what they're saying, and they don't have anything of value. Their research is just bull. Yeah. By how wordy they make their sentences and their paragraphs, and how much they fluff it to make it seem like what they're saying is this deep, thoughtful thing, when in reality it's sometimes not even. It's just nonsensical word salad. But
agreed.
No, I agree. No, I was just thinking. You made me think. I was pondering. I was at ease, and so I did not speak. Okay, here's another. This will lead me into something. Well, maybe not, but the next one. I do have a new pet peeve. I realized this week. I was watching it, and it was popping up on my like For You page and stuff like that a bit. It's the fake. I can't tell if they're fake Southern or exaggerated, like Southern / Louisiana cooking videos. And so there used to be a couple of guys who did it, and they were like, real Cajun boys, and they're just like, oh, this is how we cook. And they had a little pizzazz because they're from the Cajun. So, oh, now you look here, we're gonna do this, and who put a cracker on it is put a cracker or put it on a cracker, dude. Put it on cracker, dude.
I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, he cooks a lot of jambalaya, Cajun stuff. And he's like, oh, you can put that on a cracker, dude. And he says first anyway, he kind of started saying a lot of stuff that he got little catchphrases. Well, now I see a billion people do this now. Everybody saw that he was successful. And so everybody's doing this fake Cajun and they're trying so hard to shoehorn in their own catchphrase that they're like, ooh, there it is now. Ooh, there it is now. Ooh, there it is now. Every time they put any ingredient in, gosh, I wish I could remember this one guy said it was the most obnoxious, and he would say it every time, and it was just the worst. I was like, this is not it, man. But it's watch it now. I can't remember, but they all try to do this sassy Louise is guys, no, stop. But then it's funny, they all have their own spices that they sell as well. That's the other important. Now you put a good healthy heaping is what I was trying to say, but they don't say that because I couldn't say it. They definitely aren't. This Dano's special spice made by me, Dano himself. And here's Dano's steak spice and Dano's Cajun spice. And it's always a major ingredient in whatever they're cooking is the thing that they're selling.
Of course.
And ooh, look at that now. Ooh, that is good stuff now. Oh my goodness, I can just smell it right there. So they're all it gets so bad. I'm like, God, you're just so. Again, I guess it's back to the LinkedIn element, right? It's just disingenuous. It's fake. I hate disingenuous fake. It's my biggest qualm with a lot of streaming is especially these real life streamers. They're just all disingenuous and they're like, oh yeah, on stream I say this, but off stream I'm like this. It's okay, then why do you sell it as though they're getting a real life? They're not getting a real life stream. They're getting your personal soap opera. Yeah And but yeah, it's just a pet peeve that I just noticed it. Because used to be one or two guys would do it, and you could tell they were genuine and they were just actually there and oh, this is how I cook my food to make it taste good. Now it's everybody and their grandmama decided that they're going to be a millionaire by cooking jambalaya on TikTok. And then I start thinking, well, maybe I'm just getting old, right? Maybe I'm just getting cranky. I'm getting old. Somebody posted a clip, I'm sorry, it's not a clip. It was a article by TMZ where Jelly Roll is getting divorced from his ex-wife, I guess, Bunny XO. Right, so we got Jelly Roll and Bunny XO. Here's the actual post. Jelly Roll and Bunny XO unfollow each other on Instagram after finalizing divorce. And then somebody typed in, I'm 50. All celebrity news looks like this, : curtains for Zusha? K-Smog and Bad Boy caught flipping a grunt. And I just started cackling because I was like, that kind of is true. It's not even off.
Yep.
If you start thinking that we just heard Jelly Roll and Bunny XO, I'm like, boy, our celebrities we are in trouble, huh? It used to be oh yeah, Cary Grant and I don't know, Marilyn Monroe. I don't know if they're even the same age group, but they got caught.
Now, young dipshit and loser McGee.
Exactly.
Found. Those guys.
They divorced after finding out that their surrogate decided to keep the child and not give it to them as a, it's oh my God, what are we doing? What is? After playing Grand Theft Auto online, they decided. I was going to ask. I guess you're not the one to ask about that, so maybe I won't. Here's a good one. Here's a good one for you, Placebo. You ready?
I'm ready. Hit me.
Kim Kardashian said ChatGPT has made her fail law school tests and called it a toxic friend. And I believe they were putting this in a quote. Let's see if I can get this. Kim Kardashian, in quote, "I use it for legal advice. So when I am needing to know the answer to a question, I'll take a picture and snap it and put it in there." And then the interviewer said, "So you're cheating?" And Kim Kardashian says, "They're always wrong. It has made me fail tests." And Teddy said, "Are you serious?" "All the time."
So
and
she's
then
trying to cheat, but
Yes.
it's failing.
And I was like, this is why our lawyers and our judges now are all god awful, stupid, make it up as they go. Because they are trying to, I guarantee you, Kim's just too dumb to make it work. I guarantee you there's other people who 100% got their law degree, or at least a vast majority of it, through the process of just using AI to basically cheat their way through.
No doubt.
Kim
for
said,
almost any discipline, I'm sure that's true.
Kim said, "All the time. And then I'll get mad at it and I'll yell at it and be like, 'You made me fail. Why did you do this?' And it will talk back to me." Oh, shit. We got our yelling at the AI and it's talking about, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Imagine having that level of what's it called, where you don't take responsibility for things.
Yeah, a lack of accountability. Yeah, I don't know what that, but what is that? There's a term.
You made me fail.
Yeah, you AI. Yes. Yeah. Oh no, it gets better. She says, and this is quoting Kim Kardashian again. She went on further. "Hey," talking to the AI, "Hey, you're going to make me fail. How does that make you feel? You need to really know these answers. I'm coming to you." Like, unless you ask the AI, how does that make you feel? Like,
an appeal to emotion on
bleep,
an AI,
blurt, like,
is a brave call.
That is why, like, sweetheart, you don't have the brains to be a lawyer. Like, if this is where you're at, like, just no. I don't care how emotionally you want it. That's a no. That one made me cackle when I was like, ugh.
God, imagine it. And this is your public defendant.
Yes.
Kim Kardashian has been appointed to you.
No! God, no!
I'll take a new one right now. We don't even need to go down this route at all.
See, I was trying to think of that, but that's not. I was trying to think of some topics, but well, because there's a few I had like stored up, but they're like tech talk, and you're not really into, like, the whole you know how everything's moving into digital and people are getting kind of cranky about it, because like PlayStation and Xbox have said that they're not going to make physical discs anymore. It's all just going to be digital copies of games. And
I am aware of this.
Part of me, I get it, right? Like, part of me gets it, because as they look at the numbers, I think it's something like 93% of people right now buy everything digital, even with both being available. Yep. So they're like, why are we still putting this out? But part of me also thinks, as a consumer, it's a protection thing, because, like, even in the past 2 weeks, I think Xbox has went down for, like, Xbox Live has went down for like 2 full days. PlayStation Network has went down for a day or two, and you just could not play your games. Now, we're used to this because we're PC gamers and this has been our life, right? Like, no shit, oh, you don't have internet, you don't get to play the game. But I understand the argument, because they're saying, well, I guess maybe, I don't know if consumers are wanting the terminology to change, because you're not actually buying the game, right? You're renting it. Mm-hmm. That's actually what we're doing. We're just long-term renting it for a single cost. Because at any point in time, if they say, well, we no longer want to carry this game, you're done,
They take it down,
I guess, what are your feelings on that? Like, do you miss the days where you actually this was your game, you owned it, you could resell it if you wanted, you actually bought and kind of owned the game, whereas now it is blatantly you're just renting it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's tough because the best time that I had with games was when they were like a Game Boy, right? Like a handheld where you just plug it into the Game Boy. There's no like internet or anything like that to it. You're playing the game on the device that is made to play the game on.
Right.
Whenever, right? Like that I think was my favorite. And this is, I don't know. I don't really give a fuck, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fine. No, you don't have to.
The markets will do what the markets will do.
That's kind of where, I guess that's where I'm at, because I've seen a lot of people online getting kind of really bent out of shape, but I'm like, no, this isn't like an arbitrary. Yes, there's people online whining about it, but in reality, when the push comes to shove, you guys are buying digital copies when physical copies
100%.
exist.
All of these people who are bitching about it are buying the digital games on Steam. So, like...
Or even on the consoles, they're buying it through, like, the Xbox store or the PlayStation store.
Correct, right. The Switch store.
Yeah, they're not buying the physical copy. So it's like, well, you know what you could do is, if up to this point you would have been buying them on, like, disc, physical, they wouldn't have made this. If it was, like, even 30% of people still buy it, physical copies, this would never be an issue, because that would be a high enough number. They're like, it's worth making. Yeah. You are the ones that gave them this idea, and they know you're just going to complain about it, and you're going to claim that you're going to boycott it until a game comes out that you really, really like, and you're still going to buy it digitally anyway.
See, now that is something I think about a lot, that is, I think, at the crux of all of these issues that cause all of these people to bitch and moan. I think the biggest issue that people who play video games face is that generally, as a population, they are a group, a subset, that has a very low amount of willpower.
Yes.
And a very low amount of conviction and ability to take in some like hardship and difficulty. They will take the easy road. They will jerk off 8 times a day. They will DoorDash every meal.
Mm-hmm.
They will not do the things that they need to ensure a better tomorrow.
Right.
And so I think that is, I guess, where I'm coming from when I say, yeah, they buy the things online. Why? Because it would be a lot of work to put on a shirt and go outside and get in the car and drive over to the store and purchase a physical copy. And then whenever I wanted to play the thing, I couldn't just sit in my chair and download or undownload something. I would have to go over, get the console, get the device, plug it into the console. Right? I just think they are too lazy for their own good.
I can say that, yeah. I was thinking, I do know that there's been some level of like aggressive pushback on, say, like wokeism in the games, and they've done a pretty good job of not buying games and the games not doing well, that have become like.
Well, I don't think they really need to force themselves to not buy those games, though, right? Like I think that just kind of like.
Yeah, I guess that's true too, because it's like, oh well, it has content that I wouldn't enjoy anyway.
Right. Who's like, oh, I really want to play this game about this edgy teen girl who can traverse universes and talks with. I guess that just happened. Oh, I really wanted to play that, but I'm not gonna to make a point. No, they're like, fuck that game. I'm not gonna play that.
Well, I mean, I think there's like with Halo, you know, people probably would have liked to go back and have the nostalgia, but then they found out, you know, they added a bunch of stuff to it. I mean, I think there's some elements where there's like a traditional, maybe like even like the new Witcher. A lot of people are like, I don't know about this. You know, I do think there's some games that like they were hoping it would be good, but once they found out it would be kind of not what they wanted, they're choosing to not engage. So it's not just like the whole game it's like it's a game that they know and love, but it's been tweaked, it's been changed. Whoops, I just punched my mic. That probably didn't sound great. But so I don't know. But I think they've done okay. But you're probably right. I think for the most part you are right. Let me put it that way. I do think for the most part you are correct.
Well, I agree. I think for the most part I'm correct. I don't think everything I've said is 100% exact, but I think I'm on the right trend.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. Hold on. I'm going to.